All right. This is our final math review, which I guess is kind of not 100% true. It's not a math review for the final. If you want to do a math review for the final, just go back and watch all the other math reviews, including this one. But I just mean it's our last math review. Math review for this last section. There's really only one thing that we have to review while I get rid of this, which is finding an antiresonance. Now, I know if you've probably seen the little thing I wrote, finding an antiresonance is the same thing as finding a resonance. This is true. But we're just going to walk through it anyway. So let's do, like, what if you had to find the third resonance and antiresonance for a 0.45 meter tube with a 0.12 meter closed offshoot. That's what we're going to do. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we need to know what formula we're using, right? So our formula is going to be the fancy F and the N, denoting which resonance we want to find, equals 2n minus 1 times 340 over 4. If I do a lowercase l, it's going to look like a 1. I'm going to do an uppercase L, but you know it's usually lowercase l. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with. Remember, well, I'll write this back up, that it's a 45 tube and a 12 offshoot, but we need to make some extra space. I've read places that the microphone that I'm using is really particularly sensitive to clicks, like mouse clicks, and it's a different microphone that I was using for the other math reviews. So if that's true, I apologize. I won't know until I go back and listen to it. So I'm trying to click as little as possible, which is still a lot of clicks. Okay. So it's a 45 and a 12, and we need the third resonance and antiresonance. That's an A. Okay. Here's our formula. We're going to find the first resonance first, which, as you know, means that we can just kind of like ignore this portion, because the first resonance is 1, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, 1 times anything is itself. So really, all we need to do is solve for F1 equals 340 over 4 times 0.45, and we can also do the same for the anti-resonance. I'm just going to call that 1A, is 340 over 4 times 0.12. That, just sneak that in there like that. Okay, so we can reduce some things. This would be 85 over 0.45. And this is 85 over 0.12. Let me pull out my calculator. Okay, so 85 over 0.45 is 188.89. And 85 over 0.12 is 708.33. Okay, we're not done. If you put these in as your answers, you'll get like half credit for each one. Because, oh, well, I shouldn't put my calculator away. That's a dumb thing to do. We have to compute the third resonance. Let's get rid of, there's a lot of dots around here. Oh yeah, like multiplication and decimal places. That makes sense. And semicolons. Okay. So third antiresonance. What are we going to do? Let's get rid of this. Our n now is 3. So if we get rid of the n and we put in a 3, it's going to be 2 times 3 is 6 minus 1, which equals 5. So really what we need to do is multiply both of these by 5. Now I'm going from right to left, but that's okay. We're just saving space and time. So 188.89 times 5 is 944.45. And 708.33 times 5 is 3,541.65. That should be a 3. There we go. And those are your answers. 944. You want to round that to 944, that's fine. If you want to round the other one to 3,542, that's okay. Or you can do the decimals, whichever you prefer. Those are the third resonance. So this is the resonance here. It's lower, and this is the third antiresonance. There you go. The resonance is going to be lower because the resonance we're dealing with a much longer tube, the actual speech tube from the throat right up from the larynx to the mouth. So 0.45 meters or 45 centimeters would be the same thing. So it seems a little long, but not terribly so, I guess. First resonance is 188, but this question is asking you for the third. So you have to put the whole formula together. 2 times n minus 1 multiplied by 340 over 4L. And when you put in the third resonance, which we've got down here, you come up with 5. So you're multiplying 5 by what we did earlier, and you've got 944. It's lower than the third antiresonance because the antiresonance is a much shorter offshoot, like the inside of just the mouth. If you're looking at a nasal sound, like an or an you'll see an antiresonance peak. So if you were going to have to draw, which I don't think I'm going to make you do this, But just to put this together with the other stuff that we've been talking about, if you were going to have to draw all this together, your spectrogram would look like, let's see, we got to get up to, we got to get up quite a ways. We got to get up to like 4,000. So there's 2,000, there's 1,003, there's 500. Okay. So we're going to have one resonance peak at like 180, 190-ish, right? So that's like here. And then we'd have another one that we didn't compute at 3 times 190, which is roughly 600. So you have another one here. Then you have another one at 944, which is about here. This is not great because I've got just these, like it's not the best. So we've got harmonics that are coming along. Oh, I should have had an anti-resonance at 700, which is about right here. It should come down a little bit. There's an anti-resonance. Then there's another anti-resonance at 3 times 700, which is 21. So there's 2,000. So we're going along and we have another anti-resonance right there. Keep coming along. There's resonance peaks here and there. And then we get to 35 and we've got another anti-resonance dip, and that corresponds to our third anti-resonance. And this corresponds to our third resonance. This is our first resonance, and this is our first anti-resonance. So hopefully that puts together what you've been looking at with and all those different things, and the math that you're going to have to do in this portion. Okay, so the last exam is due on the same day as the final exam. The final exam has more hand calculation questions, a lot more than this actual just unit exam that's coming up. In fact, there's 2 hand calculation questions that you're going to have to do for the exam that's coming up. The final has more. I think it has like 5. So what I think you should do is, if you just finished watching this, go take the final. Sorry. Go take the exam that corresponds to this math review. Whoop. Then, while this is fresh in your mind, do that exam, the whole thing. Then what I want you to do is go study for the final. And to study for the final, I want you to watch all of the math reviews, because there are hand calculations. Make sure you know what you're doing. Go back to that Excel sheet that you can practice on until you keep getting the answers that are coming up. And then also look at your quizzes that you've done, any notes that you've taken, and then do the final. Okay. Good luck on this exam and the final. And I'll maybe see you in other classes. This might be one of the last ones you take, though. This is like getting to the end of the sequence. So maybe I'll see you in other classes. Maybe I won't. In any case, good luck in your 400 level classes and grad school applications.